4th of July is just around the corner, so it's time to start getting ready to shoot those fireworks. So stick with us in this episode of Photography 180. I'll give you a few tips that might help you get some better shots. So welcome back to the series, everyone. Again, this is all about upcoming 4th of July celebrations, and you're out there, you want to take some really great pictures of these fireworks, but you're having some trouble dialing in your settings. So here are a few of my recommendations. Number one is to always be in manual mode. You want full control over your camera settings throughout the entire fireworks show. It's just gonna allow you to adjust more quickly on the fly and based on the time of day and the type of fireworks that you're photographing. This is going to give you the best way to get a great shot quickly, because usually we don't have a lot of time to do this. So ISO and Aperture, or ISO, whatever you want to call it, these are going to be crucial to allowing you to dial in the proper exposure. More often than not, to photograph fireworks properly, we're going to have to be at a slower shutter speed. For me, that typically means I'm setting my camera to around 1/30th of a second, and I may adjust from there. I'll go down as far as 1/10th of a second. Now keep in mind, I'm not using a tripod in these situations. The slower your shutter speed, the more likely you should be using a tripod, especially if you're just photographing the fireworks themselves. I tend to use fireworks as more of a background with my couples in front, so I'm also using off-camera flash to freeze my subjects. I don't have to worry so much about the hand-holding part. So what you want to do is typically ISO, I will set it around 1600 to 2000, and I'm assuming this is a completely dark sky, usually around 9 o'clock at night these types of things start. I'm not worried with today's cameras to have my ISO up really high. Now, if you're shooting a long exposure and you're using a tripod, then by all means keep your ISO low to avoid noise. But for me, at a 10th of a second, 20th or 30th, I don't mind pumping up the ISO. My images typically look great using today's cameras with the higher ISOs, no trouble with noise there. Now your aperture, of course, is going to be a creative decision as well. Are the fireworks your focal point? Are your couple a focal point? For me, typically it's my couple. So I usually will dial in an aperture somewhere around f5 and kind of go up or down from there. I've gone down as low as 2.8 without any problems at all. Yeah, obviously if you're shooting just the fireworks and you really want pure sharpness throughout, setting your aperture to more like f8 to f16 could be beneficial. For shutter speed, the reason why I'm going down to a 30th of a second or slower is I really want to get as much of that firework trail as I possibly can. So when you go to a higher shutter speed, you're really not going to get the true effect of fireworks that I think you're after. For white balance, I typically will have my white balance set to a particular Kelvin. Maybe it could be daylight, whatever it may be. I think it's best to avoid in these situations using any kind of auto white balance, because I don't want my shots from one to the next to be so different across a series of images. So I like to set it, importantly shooting in RAW, so that I have full power in editing posts to have everything look consistent, and it gives me the greatest leeway to adjust my exposures if I happen to miss, let's say on a particular series, but I know I'm close. So those are a few things to keep in mind. I hope you guys obviously practice safety if you're going to be photographing fireworks. My couples, as you'll see in some sample shots I'll share here, we're obviously nowhere near these fireworks, but they can be quite fun to photograph and can create a beautiful image if you know how to adjust your settings, and just have some fun, stay safe, enjoy that 4th of July, and I hope this episode's been helpful, so appreciate you. See you guys next week.